Hi, thank you for your interest in the minor cost threshold calculator. This is a short 10-minute tutorial to assist you with this tool. As you may already be aware, the Office of Regulatory Innovation and Assistance, also known as ORIA, provides online guidance tools to help agencies navigate the Regulatory Fairness Act. As you scroll down the Regulatory Fairness Act support webpage, you'll see a variety of guidance tools and documents, including a link to the Regulatory Fairness Act statute. One of the components for meeting the Regulatory Fairness Act is to complete an analysis of your proposed rule and determine if a small business economic impact statement, also known as an SPEIS, is needed. As you reference the RFA statute, you'll learn more about the statutory requirements and the decision points for SPEIS work. One of your first decision points is determining if your proposed rule imposes more than minor cost on a business in an industry. And this is where our minor cost calculator can help. So what does minor cost mean? The statute defines minor cost as cost per business that is less than 0.3% of annual revenue or income, or $100, whichever is greater, or 1% of annual payroll. However, for the rules of the Department of Social Health Services, minor cost means cost per business that is less than $50 of annual cost per client or other appropriate unit of service. Even after reading that and hearing it spoken out loud, you might still be a little bit confused about what is minor cost. So as we go through this tutorial, we hope that we can break it down a little bit more in the minor cost calculator. So let's jump right into the calculator. The calculator is built into an Excel spreadsheet which has 6 tabs. The first tab is an instructional page where we provide some guidance on minor cost and SPEIS work. We outline step-by-step instructions for how you enter your information. We provide a legend for some descriptive terms which might pop up when you're entering your information, and we provide the data documentation of the data sources. This next tab is the actual minor cost calculator. We're just going to take a quick look now. We'll get much deeper into this in a few minutes, but as you can see, you'll be adding just a few bits of information, and then the calculator will auto-populate the results for you. So it's pretty exciting, and we'll get into this in just a few minutes. The third tab in this spreadsheet is the NAICS definitions. I'll discuss these codes in more detail later in this tutorial. This tab is from the US BLS website. This will provide you data from the United States Bureau of Labor and Statistics. This next section provides industry count and gross business income from the Washington State Department of Revenue. This section provides industry count and total annual wages provided by the Washington State Employment Security Department. The final tab is the NAICS summary, and this provides you with a data breakdown that resulted from the NAICS code you entered into the calculator. This data is drawn from the 3 sources we discussed: the US BLS data source, the DOR data source, and the ESD data source. It auto-populates, so there's nothing for you to fill in here, but it does give you an opportunity to see the breakdown of industry numbers, total wages, total payroll, and this information may also be additional information that can be used during your rule making. Now that you understand the components of this calculator, let's enter some information. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to enter info for 4 different types of business industries. And for each of these business industries, we are going to say that the estimated cost of compliance for our proposed rule will be $2,000. This will allow you to see how the calculator works differently for each business industry. As you look at the calculator, you'll notice that the cells are different colors. The left side of the calculator is where you will actually be entering your information from the title of your WAC, the description of your rule, and the 3 bits of information that helps the calculator determine your minor cost estimate. This would be your NAICS code, your estimated cost of compliance, and your industry description. The right side of the calculator, you'll see the gray areas is where the cells auto-populate and give you the information for the minor cost estimate. The green section is what changes based on the information you add, and it'll be the indicator to let you know whether an SBIS is required. As you're looking at this calculator, you'll notice that the most important part of what you're going to be adding is in row 8. You'll first of all enter your title. For the purpose of your rulemaking, this typically would be the WAC chapter. You would then enter the description, which could either be the description of your rulemaking or the description of your WAC. For the first demonstration, we're going to say that we will be doing rulemaking on auto driving schools. We already know that our cost of compliance is $2,000, but we need to find the NAICS code. A couple of different ways for you to find your NAICS code within this spreadsheet. The first is going to the instruction page under step 1, and there's a link here which goes to the U.S. Census Bureau's website where you can actually put in your keyword, put in your business industry on the left-hand top side, and it will give you several different options within that business industry. For this, it shows that 611692 is actually the automobile driving school. So you might want to spend some time here and just make sure that that definition matches the industry for which you're writing the rule. And if so, you're able to use that code. Another way to search for the code is to go to the NAICS definition tab on this website. You're able to highlight column B and do your hotkey Control F, type in driving school, and when you click on Find Next, this will show you within this part of the calculator what that NAICS code is for automobile driving school. It actually gives you a small definition for driving school, but if you wanted to learn more, you'd go back to the U.S. Census Bureau website for more information. You put your industry code in, and then the calculator works its magic. And here it pops up as red. So red means that you may be required to complete an SBIS. And this is based on the information that you entered. As you can see, it shows that your minor cost estimate for this business is $1,652 and your cost of compliance is $2,000. Therefore, your cost of compliance for this rule is more than minor cost of this business industry. You can also go over and look at the NAICS breakout, and it will show you different bits of data based on all 3 of those data sources: USBLS, Department of Revenue, and ESD. It will show you the number of establishments. Based on each data source, it will give you a larger number. It's giving you the average payroll or the average revenue, and then the percentages, which are required to break it down for the minor cost. So this is really a good way to look at all the data that's presented here based on the information that you put in to the minor cost calculator. And there you have it. If this is what you need, you end up printing it out and putting it in your rulemaking file and use that information for your rules. So now, let's put in another business type. We know that our rulemaking will involve the business industry of child daycare. We know that our estimated cost of compliance is $2,000, and we've already looked up our NAICS code, and so we're able to put that in here after our NAICS code search. One of the things to make sure you do when using the calculator is compare your industry description with what's in column D. Sometimes you may put in the wrong code, or you may have looked at the wrong business industry, and this just is a little bit of checks and balances. Once you've entered this information, the calculator is telling you you may not be required to complete SBIS. It shows that the minor cost estimate is over $2,600 and your cost of compliance is $2,000, so it's less than minor. You can go into the NICS breakdown and get additional information and use that as part of your rulemaking. So it's that simple for child daycares, if there's anything simple in rulemaking. So the next business industry we're going to put in is for distilleries. And this shows you that you can actually go left to right when you're putting your information in, or right to left as we did in previous information. With this, you're going to be putting in your NICS code. You know that your estimated cost of compliance is $2,000. And you're looking at this, you're comparing distillery to the column D, and it's showing that the minor cost estimate for distilleries is $2,049.47, which is more than your cost of compliance for this proposed rule, which is $2,000. Therefore, you may not be required to complete an SBEIS. On occasion, you might have something different pop up as a result from the calculator. In this case, we're going to show you that, let's say the state is having to write a lot of new rules regarding tobacco farming, where the estimated cost of compliance for all these rules will be $2,000. In this case, the calculator shows that you may be required to complete an SBIS, but it shows that the information is redacted, the data is redacted. In this case, if you're not sure what this means, you can go back to the instructions and it will show you down in the legend that redacted means that this type of business industry, either there aren't a lot of these businesses, or perhaps maybe there's one of the businesses that's so large it has the monopoly on the revenue for this business. So this data is suppressed for confidentiality. When this happens, if both revenue and payroll are suppressed, some agencies decide to use the default of $100. You can go to the next breakout and see if there's any data that it provides, and in this case it's no, none of the data is available. So an agency might use the default of $100, which the calculator shows, and will complete the SBIS analysis, or they will find a different data source for the information, including other data sets and working directly with those business entities. The final part we want to show you within the calculator is what happens if you enter a NICS code that's less than the 6 digits. As you know, the smaller amount of digits within the NICS code will indicate the largest business sector with which these companies operate. And so what was written into this calculator is something that might look like it contradicts itself. You might see in green that you're not required to complete an SBIS, but in red it says that you are. And this happens when you put in less than the 6 digits. The reason why is that we wanted to make sure that you were mindful of the most impacted sub-industry affected but isn't listed under your NICS code when it's less than 6 digits. And how we've done this is we've broken it out under the NICS breakout, so you can really make sure as you're doing your rule writing that you've determined that using perhaps either a 3-digit or 4-digit actually works for your rulemaking in determining minor cost. And that brings us to the end of this tutorial. Thanks so much for watching and listening to this tutorial on the minor cost threshold calculator. Just again, a reminder that this tool is only intended as suggested guidance to assist you in complying with the Small Business Economic Impact Statement requirements of the Regulatory Fairness Act. And as you know, each rulemaking is unique, and because of that, it's highly recommended that agency staff consult with their assigned Assistant Attorney General and internal regulatory experts throughout the rulemaking process. Please contact us if you have any questions or even suggestions on how to make this minor cost threshold calculator better. Thank you again.